We've got some massive news coming out for Once Human in regards to seasons and scenarios, where over on their Discord, they have a whole detailed post laying out a bunch of new information. I'm going to break it all down right here. If this video helps you out at all, then help me out by hitting that like button. But let's go ahead, cut this plug, and get right into it. They start off with the question, what are the seasons and scenarios inside of Once Human, and what does the long-term game plan look like? They define a scenario by being the gameplay theme of a server. They say that Once Human's global launch in July offered two scenarios to play: the PvE scenario, Manibus, and the PvP scenario, Evolution's Call. In September and October, they're bringing in special events featuring new scenarios. The September scenario allows you to face confrontations among factions, and the October one will introduce you to an all-new map and challenge you to survive extreme environments. So in that statement right there, they lay out the next two scenarios that we can expect to come into Once Human. October seems like it's going to be a much bigger update, introducing a brand new map into the game. They also say that they are working on scenarios featuring limitless PvP gameplay, and additionally a regular scenario that can be played all year round will be available in the future. So they're almost going to go about it in the Diablo format by having a more permanent scenario available that is running alongside the seasonal scenarios that they're going to be dropping each year. They move on to say that these scenarios are set within the time frame of a season, with the duration of a season varying according to the specific scenario. A season will be split into several phases based on the features of that scenario, yada yada yada. Aside from the fact that they're going to be adding in a permanent server, they are going to be continuing with the seasons in the scenarios, as well as the time-gated unlock inside of the scenarios. I do want to point out that they add here that once you unlock all of the content and the scenario comes to that settlement phase, what you can then do is sign up for a new scenario, take all of your gains, and start a new adventure. But they do say that alternatively, you can stay logged on to the same server until the settlement phase is over. This phase lasts 4 weeks in their current scenarios. That's crazy. So even in season 1, they're saying here that as soon as the settlement phase starts, that it is going to last for 4 weeks, which is nearly as long as the entire season in itself. For me personally, it seems like that's almost overkill. I know a lot of people are upset about the fact that the wipes are coming in, but for me, this game is more on the Diablo side and Path of Exile side and Rust side, where the wipes help assist in keeping the content feeling fresh, especially when we're talking about adding in new content for every single scenario. Speaking of new content for scenarios, the second question that they bring up is, what are the differences between different scenarios? Their first answer is that there is going to be different seasonal rules as well as different seasonal objectives. They say in each scenario you will encounter unique seasonal rules and in-game objectives. For example, some scenarios may ask you to explore uncharted territories and secure rare deviations, while others will require you to form alliances with other metahumans, survive in harsh environments, and combat ferocious monsters. In those scenarios, you will have the option to either go solo or team up with other players, or even align with factions. Yeah, that's obvious. What's interesting to me is that first part there. Some scenarios may ask you to explore uncharted territories and secure rare deviations. Does that all still play out in the survival format? I would assume it does, in which case I'm not sure like what the difference is here. Let me know what you guys think about that statement down in the comments. That one kind of throws me for a loop there. Let's move on to their second answer, being different in-game experiences. They say new survival mechanics, that certain scenarios will introduce features that intensify the challenges of survival, such as harsher weather conditions or more demanding environments, new maps and areas, enemy types. Obviously all that stuff is like obvious, but then they also also bring up that the scale, meaning the maximum number of players for each scenario, will also vary. It'll be interesting to see exactly what sort of scenarios they have planned to come out for Once Human. It seems like they might have some surprises coming down the pipeline. I'm not entirely sure. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. The third question that they bring up is, how do I sign up for a new scenario? They say that in the final phase of the current scenario, you can sign up for a new scenario and start a new journey right away. If you prefer, you can choose not to sign up for a new scenario and remain on the same server, continuing your exploration and battles for up to 4 more weeks. During this time, you can always sign up for one of the new scenarios. If you haven't decided on which one to join by the time your server's last phase is over, your current server will be closed and your character will return to Eternal Land, where you can continue playing and sign up for a new scenario at any time. What about brand new players coming into the game? That's the one question that I have, because as they have it set up right now, servers are on different phases. There's like groups of servers on phase 5, groups of servers on phase 4, etc, etc. So let's say you're on phase 3 right now of Once Human, but I'm on phase 5, 4 days away from phase 6 unlocking, when they're saying I would technically be able to sign up for the new scenario. Are you just locked in for 2 weeks regardless? Like, what if you've never played the game before in your life? I'd assume that there's going to be a way that you can jump into these new scenarios even if your server is not at the settlement phase. In doing so, I'd imagine that you're still going to have to restart progress, which shouldn't be too bad considering the fact that everybody's on kind of a reset. But speaking of all of the reset at the end of the season, their next question is actually, when a scenario is over, does that mean I will lose my in-game progress? Their answer is no. They say when a scenario is over, you can take away the rewards you've earned, except for some extremely rare cases and items related to scenarios and memetics. However, to ensure that each scenario offers a complete gaming experience and allows all players to enjoy the game regardless of their progress, they have the following rules placed. First one being that your character won't be deleted. Your character name, body size, cosmetics, furniture formulas, friends, important materials, including star chromes, Christogens, Misuko marks, silver keys, battle pass progress, task progress will be forever retained. However, character leveling and memetics are considered a part of the scenario and are being reset. Weapon and armor, blueprints, blueprint fragments, weapon accessories, mods, food recipes, other important in-game progress resources of your character will also be forever retained, and you can use them at any time in any scenario. That's a really good choice. But the next thing that they allow you to carry over is house blueprints, furniture formulas, furnitures, etc, etc. They've even optimized the house blueprint feature, making it to where you can now build a blueprint even if you don't have the advanced materials. So if it's requiring steel and stone, but you only have wood because we're at the start of a new season, then you'll be able to still build that. It'll just build it all out of wood. Regular resources, being materials, medicine, ammo, and more, will all be transferred to your Eternal Land as well. However, you will not be able to bring all of these resources into a new scenario. They say upon entering a new scenario, you can bring multiple items with you as long as they adhere to the scenario's rules. However, there is a limit to how many items you bring along. They will have a point system in place with each item requiring different amount of points to take back into the main game. So this is definitely going to be something that you want to take a little bit of time planning out, maybe trying to make sure that you get some of the good resources for the early game, but also still getting some good resources that are going to help you transition faster from the early game to the mid game, rather than just, fully going out on late game material, which in Once Human, resources and whatnot are plentiful. So farming out that late game material isn't too bad, but I can definitely see having some like advanced parts or something like that to help you craft a weapon a little bit earlier than you might be able to, because the advanced parts don't unlock until the phase 3 of the scenario or whatever, right? So you're definitely going to want to pick your items carefully as you move into new scenarios. That is all of the information that came out on the Once Human Discord. By the sounds of it, we are only days away now from Season 2, Scenario 2 inside of Once Human. I'm definitely excited to see how this all ends up shaking out. Let me know down in the comments if you guys are going to be starting up a fresh character for Season 2, Scenario 2, or if you're going to wait for your server to play out. But that's all the information that I wanted to go over in this video. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I'm out.